My name is Anthony Simonetti, and I work in marketing here at New Horizons Computer Learning Centers. I'm out in Southern California, and so for me it's a good morning. For everyone else it's probably a good afternoon. But before we get started, I just wanted to ask a quick poll of everyone. So it's going to show up here in just a second. And feel free to give us some answers just so we can know how to kind of craft the presentation today. So are you currently using Windows 8 or Windows 8.1 at your business? We'll give you 40 seconds or so to answer. So we got some good results here. Looks like about 91% of you said no, you're not using Windows 8 currently, and 9% said yes. And then we have another question. If you're not using Windows 8 currently, are you planning on upgrading or migrating within the next 6 months, so before the end of this year? So I'm going to go ahead and close this poll as well. Interesting results. We have 74% saying no, you're not currently planning on upgrading within the next 6 months, while we have 25% saying yes, you are planning on upgrading in the next 6 months. So interesting polls, and hopefully maybe we can change your mind or continue on your same mind in today's presentation by Nick Lane. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. He is obviously why you're here today. And just as a heads up, if you guys have questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. They'll relay them to me, and I can relay them to Nick. And with that, I'd like to give it to Nick. So Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Anthony. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nick Lane, and I'm going to be the presenter of this presentation, which is Windows 8, Yay or Nay. Now, you might notice that I have Windows 8.1 in the presentation because that is the newest version of Windows 8. So I will talk about that. And we're going to spend the next 45 minutes together, give or take, going over Windows 8.1, whether it's the right choice for you, whether it's not the right choice for you. We're going to learn about the new features of it because obviously this is the latest operating system from Microsoft. And there's a lot of questions that people have about it. It seems really different. Is it something that we should roll out? Is it gonna go bust? Like there's a lot of I guess misinformation out there about it. My job is going to be to teach you about Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 accordingly over the next 45 minutes. So let's
Hey,
move
Nick, it's
forward
actually
here.
not showing your screen anymore. If you can show that up again.
Oh, my screen's not being shared. Let me fix that. Okay, it should be sharing right now.
We're good. Thank you.
And Anthony, can you confirm that, please?
Yeah,
Excellent.
we're good.
All right, so just real briefly, I'll just mention what my background is, and I'll talk about who New Horizons is, and then we're going to get straight into the presentation. Okay? As I said, my name is Nick Lane. I'm a trainer with New Horizons Computer Learning Centers of Southern California. I've been with New Horizons now for about 8.5 years as a full-time trainer, and I got some, I guess, nice information there about my background. I got some awards and things, been certified a really long time. And you can see the certifications I have. I'm a certified ethical hacker. I teach a lot of security classes. I teach cloud computing. I teach Windows 8. I have multiple MCSEs. I have a lot of CompTIA certs. I've been in the field about 15, 16 years now professionally doing IT. So I got a lot of background there. And let's take a look real briefly at New Horizons. That's who I work for. I'm a New Horizons trainer. And you may have heard it before, maybe not. We are the world's largest computer training company. We are in 70-plus countries and over 300 locations around the world. So nobody offers more classes at more times and more modalities than New Horizons does. We take pride in that. And I mean, just think about how we're doing this presentation right now. I'm probably thousands of miles away from a lot of you right now, but we're doing a delivery through a online classroom tool here. So New Horizons, we definitely offer a lot of learning solutions. We can bring the training to your company. We can let you do training online. We use video recorded training, self-paced learning, instructor-led learning. The list goes on. We have a lot of learning modalities here. Okay, we have a lot of instructors, and like I said, we're in a lot of countries. Okay, so a lot of classrooms, a lot of countries, a lot of trainers. We teach a lot of students every year, more than anybody else. So definitely a very large computer training company. We are number one. Okay, here's just a small number of learning methods that we offer. Okay, one of the challenges of teaching adults is adults have a lot of responsibilities. They travel a bit. They're at home sometimes, working sometimes, and it can be challenging getting people to train when time is limited. But that's why we offer a lot of different training modalities. We can allow you to train from home. We can let you go to a local New Horizons. You can attend classes on the internet with the instructor anywhere in the country potentially. So we give you a lot of flexibility. Okay, so we have the typical instructor-led training modality, where you have instructor at the front of the room, students are in their seats, and it's a live experience. But we also do what's called online live, where I'm in a classroom or maybe in my home office, and I'm delivering the information to students literally all over the country. A lot of times my students are in different states. Okay, so we have a lot of learning modalities here, and we have a lot of strong partnerships. We're a Microsoft Gold partner, which is about as high of a relationship as you can establish with Microsoft. We're partnered with Microsoft, VMware, Cisco, CompTIA. We're partnered with Adobe. We're partnered with PC Council, Citrix, I think I said VMware already, Red Hat. We are partners with all these organizations because we teach a lot of their stuff. So you can definitely, hopefully appreciate the unique relationships we have with our vendors. It separates us from the competition. Okay. Otherwise, you guys are here for learning about Windows 8, and we're going to continue until about 10:45 Pacific Coast time. That's about, I would say, about 45 minutes or so. Okay, so let's get straight to it. As you may or may not know, Microsoft released a new version of their operating system in late 2012. It was the fall of 2012. Windows 8 was released to the market. And with that came a very different looking interface. And this is what people typically boot into when they're using Windows 8. They boot into this start screen. And it looks kind of touch-oriented because it is. Microsoft wants to gain more market share in their tablet arena, their smartphone arena, because those industries are dominated by Apple and the various Android vendors out there. So Microsoft had to create an operating system that had a similar kind of touch, look, and feel to their competitors. Google's doing it well. Samsung, you have the Android OS, you have Apple, you have the iOS operating system. They've perfected the touch experience, and Microsoft doesn't want to be left behind in that. So they've created a fairly touch-oriented interface. This is what they call the start screen, sometimes called Metro, although technically it's not accurate. Some people call it Metro. Some people call it the modern UI. Some people call this the Windows 8 UI. There's a lot of different language here for it, but this is the start screen. This is what I would say used to be the start menu. And what's cool about this is you have, first of all, it's fairly aesthetically pleasing. Okay, it's a very colorful looking start screen. You can use what's called live tiles. Okay, these tiles they're internet connected. So they're not mere icons. Mere icons are flat. They don't do anything but to show you a picture. But the tiles show you real-time information about sports and the news and the stock market and all that stuff, which some people definitely like about the start screen. But at the same time, there is a lack of familiarity with it. Some people are a bit apprehensive about the start screen because there's no more start menu. Now, that being one of the sticky points about Windows 8, I'm here to say that Microsoft is working on addressing, some of the concerns about Windows 8, where that start menu was gone. We want it back. Some people feel that way. So it's with the next revision of their operating system, which is probably be Windows 9 in next year, they're going to bring back that start menu. and also integrate the one that you see here. And if we get time, I'll show it to you. It's really, really cool. I personally like this start screen. Once you customize it, once you create all your categories and you name everything, you sort everything, you resize the tiles, it's actually pretty effective. Okay, so that's what they call the start screen. Now, a major goal for Microsoft was to unify the interface of their devices. You'll notice that a Windows 8 tablet, the Xbox One, phones, laptops, even Windows Server 12, they have a similar look and feel. The goal is to get people comfortable on the interface, and then they're going to want to switch to all of the other devices that use that same interface. It's a good move for Microsoft, but it's a radical change as well. But you'll notice that unified interface where all of them have tiles. Smartphones have tiles, the tablets do, the laptops do, even the new gaming system here, the Xbox One, which is a very powerful system, has a similar tiled look screen too. Windows Server 12, same thing. That unification is important because that's what Apple has been doing. That's what, the Google company who makes the Android. You'll notice that all of their products have a similar look and feel. If you like the iPhone, you'll like the iPad. If you like the iPad, you'll like a Mac laptop. You like that, you'll like a desktop because the interface is very similar across all the platforms. And Microsoft is trying to do the same thing here. So that's why they made Windows 8 the way it is, because they're trying to create a consistent look and feel. Touch-friendly, well, quite frankly, it's a touch world out there. Okay, there's a lot less sales now in desktops and laptops, and there's a greater increase in sales in smartphones and tablets. And that's a major reason why there's a bit less sales on the desktop arena. But as a result of mobile devices kind of taking over, okay, Microsoft had no choice but to create an interface that matches what the customers are demanding. And that's why I have a touch-friendly screen there. But Microsoft was trying to be fair to everybody by making it a touchscreen interface, but also having it work for mouse and keyboard users. And with each new revision they make to Windows 8, for example, going to Windows 8.1, they're starting to add things to the Windows 8 operating system that are more familiar to you if you're a Windows 7 user. For example, let me show you my online lab here. And let's see. This is the Windows 8 start screen. Now, if I installed what is called Windows 8.1 Update 1, you would see a search bar up here. You would see a shutdown button right there. So the latest version of Windows 8.1 comes with that shutdown button. And also the taskbar will be down there. And also when you right-click these options here, in the Windows 8.1 Update 1, you'll get a pop-up menu just like you're accustomed to in Windows 7. So what Microsoft is doing is they're merging Windows 7 and Windows 8 with each revision. So each version of Windows 8 that comes out becomes more and more familiar to people, and they really start to like it. Because we didn't roll out Windows 8 either until Windows 8.1 came out. And now we're using Windows 8.1 on a lot of our systems. Okay, and this is a foreshadowing here of what your lab experience would be like if you were to take our actual classes. We give you an online virtual environment full of the latest and greatest virtual machines, okay, and we give you 6 months of unlimited access to these labs. Okay, you can do whatever you want in them. And they also tell you what to do down here. Okay, they give you all the instructions. You can access this environment from any computer, anywhere. Okay, so you have a good lab experience with us to practice. Okay, so this is a lab environment for one of my Windows 8 classes that I do, because I'm the primary Windows 8 instructor for the company. So touch-friendly, absolutely. Okay, Windows 8 really works very well for touch devices. Okay, the only, I would say, negative will be when you use a mouse and keyboard, it feels a little bit different than the touch experience that it's optimized for. But make no mistake, Windows 8.1 is more friendly for mouse and keyboard users. And the next one coming out in the fall will be even more friendly. Therefore, there's a lot of good stuff on the pipeline there. So absolutely, it's a touch-friendly product. Now, not to be outdone by Apple and the Google App Store, Microsoft has created an app store where it's a single place where you can get all your applications. This is true for not only their smartphones and their tablets, but also for the desktop users. Okay, the Windows 8 OS has a mobile component to it, and therefore you'll see some mobile apps. Like for example, in Windows 8, you can download Flappy Bird, but that's a very popular mobile app. But the point is, the store gives you all of these mobile apps that can work not only on the Windows 8 desktop, but also on tablets and smartphones. You cannot run an Apple OS X application on a tablet, on the iPad or the iPhone. iPhones and iPads use just mobile apps. The Apple OS X desktop uses Apple OS X apps. Windows 8 is the only operating system out there that is capable of running mobile apps and desktop apps, giving it a lot more flexibility. That, again, was part of Microsoft's strategy of having a unified interface. So the App Store, there'll be many, many thousands of apps there, all the main ones like Netflix and YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, all those important apps, they're all there, okay? So the Windows Store is meant to be a single repository for all of your Windows 8 apps. Now, you hear a lot of fuss out there about cloud computing, okay? I talk about it a lot in my classes, and Windows 8 is Microsoft's greatest leap into the cloud, computing landscape as far as their client OSs are concerned. Okay, when Microsoft says they're integrated with the cloud, what Microsoft did was they created an online storage site called SkyDrive. And SkyDrive is very comparable to Dropbox or Box.com, Google Drive. These are all online repositories for our files. And because it's online, we can access these files from any device, anywhere at any time. That's what cloud computing is. Okay. Now, Microsoft did rename SkyDrive in recent months. It's no longer called SkyDrive technically. It's called OneDrive. But people will say either or. They'll say SkyDrive, they'll say OneDrive. Okay. Now, what's cool about this SkyDrive integration with Windows 8 is if you log on to any Windows 8 computer, okay, with a Microsoft account, like a Hotmail account, MSN, Outlook account, whatever, you can actually log on to any Windows 8 machine with your online account, and you'll be able to access your SkyDrive stuff automatically on any device. You'll also get synchronization of apps, like your apps will follow you. Your Windows 8 apps will follow you from Windows 8 machine to Windows 8 machine. Your contacts will follow you. That's the idea of cloud computing where, we're no longer focusing on the devices. All the devices are meant to be treated as equal because you can access all your stuff on the internet regardless of the device you use. So cloud computing is something Microsoft is, they're all in on cloud computing now. And Windows 8 is just the tip of the iceberg. Then you have Windows Server 2012, which is really big cloud. SQL Server 2012. System Center Config Manager 2012. They all have a cloud component to it. So businesses can now do cloud computing the right way. So that integration with cloud is definitely a desirable thing to have. Now, the Windows 8 operating system, you tend to think about it like, this is where I am. This is where all my programs are. This is where I get to my files. But if you don't like that, what you can do is just hit the desktop button here, and it takes you to the regular desktop, just like always. Now, when Windows 8 first came out, there was no button down there to toggle back to the start screen there, and that bothered people. They kind of felt stranded on the desktop. So Windows 8.1 comes along and puts back a start button there, and that takes you back to the modern UI here. So that gives you a little bit more comfort. And there's also, on the top right there, if I move my mouse to the top right, I have a bar that opens up here. This is called the Charms bar. This is a touch-optimized area, but it works with the mouse as well. And then I can go to Start menu or click on Settings to take you to the Windows 8 settings, including shutting off the machine. So the desktop is a bit more like it was with Windows 7, plus it's got that Charms bar, which gives you a lot of Windows 8 features. Okay? So the desktop is there. You don't have to live in the Windows 8 start screen. In fact, with Windows 8.1, you can actually tell Windows 8.1 to skip past the start screen and go directly into your desktop, which is what we've been enjoying for the last 20 years with Windows. So the desktop is still a familiar place, and you can still do what you got to do in Windows 8. Now here's a really cool feature that Microsoft created with Windows 8. It's called Windows to Go. Sometimes people, they use different desktops. You know, they roam, they go to different machines, but they want to bring their files with them. They want to bring their applications with them. They want to bring their whole OS with them. So no matter where, no matter what computer they sit at, the machine boots up the way the user wants with exactly all the stuff the user is accustomed to. So Windows 8 allows you to save your whole hard drive, the operating system, everything, programs, your data, and dump it onto a flash drive. And then take that flash drive, go to another physical computer, and boot up the computer from the flash drive. And it takes you into Windows 8 with all your programs and documents as you've always had it. So you're moving, you're carrying your computer experience with you as a result of Windows to Go. That can be very beneficial to some businesses. Okay, so that's the new thing. There's several pieces involved, but it really does the job. Another feature of Windows 8 is what's called refresh. There's also another one called reset. So you have refresh and you have reset. These options make it easier to rebuild your computer if there's a big problem. In the refresh scenario, what's going to happen is your PC settings will be changed back to their defaults. Your files and personalization settings won't change. Your Windows 8 apps from the Windows Store will be kept, okay? But any local desktop apps you install will be removed. So what I'm saying is you're refreshing the OS. It's like you're kind of doing a factory reset, but you're not resetting everything. Some things here, as noted, will be kept, and therefore you can solve a problem without necessarily creating all new ones. Because some businesses are tired of having to re-ghost their machines every time there's a problem. Maybe it's a bit easier and less destructive if we simply refresh the OS, you know, kind of do a little spring cleaning, so to speak, rather than go back to the egg. But if you want to go back to the egg, so to speak, there is a complete reset option, which is going to reinstall everything from scratch. So refresh can help you, and it's less intrusive. Reset will help you even more, and it's a bit more intrusive. But you didn't have these options with Windows 7. You have them in Windows 8. Okay? Now, I'm not going to have a slide for everything that I'm going to talk about here, so if I run out of slides, I have plenty of other things I'm going to want to say here. All right, so there's definitely a lot of cool things here to talk about, including faster startup. Okay, Microsoft has found a way to boot up the Windows 8 operating system in potentially 6 seconds. It can be done in 6 seconds if you have the right setup. With the Windows 8 OS, what Microsoft does is they hibernate the kernel. The core of the OS, the kernel, that represents the bulk of the OS. With Windows 8, you can specify that the kernel be hibernated. In other words, when you shut down your machine, the kernel doesn't get unloaded. It simply gets saved. So when you turn the machine back on, the kernel resumes from its previous state, and therefore what normally takes a minute and a half for a boot up now could take 10 seconds or less. But I have to mention that if you want to do that, you're going to have what is called a UEFI BIOS, which modern systems have. Otherwise, that faster boot up is definitely a desirable outcome because, you know, we're fairly impatient today. We want to get as much things done as possible, as quickly as possible, and waiting for a machine to turn on certainly will eat into the productivity. Okay? So those are the main slides that I have. Okay? But I do want to mention that with Windows 8, okay, you have other features as well. You have what's called Hyper-V. And you probably know about Hyper-V. Hyper-V is a big shot virtualization tool that Microsoft has. Okay? They have it with Windows Server 2008. They have it with Windows Server 2012. But they've never had Hyper-V on the client computers themselves. In today's day and age, users sometimes need to run virtual machines because they want to toggle between operating systems. They want to use an application in an older OS. They want to test a program they're creating in multiple OSs. It's nice if users have a local virtualization tool, and Windows 8 comes with that. It's Hyper-V. And it's a very good version of Hyper-V, too. That's another nice advantage of Windows 8 is it comes with Hyper-V. Now, as far as other, I guess, interests that you might have in Windows 8 or possible concerns, one thing I want to mention is Windows 8 does have a growing market share. Okay, the market share is growing. Okay, the XP market share is decreasing, and at the same time, the Windows 8 market share is growing. And the more the market share grows, the more app developers are going to start making apps for Windows 8, because app developers are going to make apps for popular products. Okay, so Windows 8's market share is growing, and that's going to attract a lot of developers. And more apps, you're going to get more market share, more apps. It's a snowball effect, so to speak. It's a cycle that needs to happen. Okay. Otherwise, let's be frank, there's a lot of negativity about Windows 8 out there. Okay, I was one of the biggest critics myself, because I was thinking that that new interface that Windows 8 has is going to scare people off. And having been in the field so long, I remember the last time we all felt that way, Windows 95. Windows 95 was a quantum leap over Windows 3.11. The interface was completely different, came with a lot of nice features, and people actually got on board with Windows 95 because they recognized, yes, this is a change, but it is a change for the better. Okay? And Microsoft, they're re-entering that change mindset again because the landscape has changed. It's a mobile world out there. And Microsoft can no longer sell ice to Eskimos by giving them a desktop OS when it's largely a touch world. So now what Microsoft did was they created an OS that is optimized for both touch users and desktop users. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that Windows 8 is a touch OS, and therefore they shy away from it. It's not a touch OS specifically. It's both. Okay, you can get a good experience with it whether you have a desktop or a laptop. Now, with that said, here's my Windows 8 environment. Okay, here's the start screen, like I've been saying, and you have options here to make this more fitting. You can right-click a tile. You can resize it. Maybe you don't want such a large tile there. Okay, you also have the option to move tiles around. That way you can put things in the order that you want. You can also do this. You can right-click on the start screen here, click on Customize, and I can start creating categories of features here. Let's see, Windows 8 apps, for example. Okay, I can create a category there. I can make another one over here, and I can even remove tiles I don't want. I don't want the finance one. I'll say unpin, and it goes away. The weather one, I can unpin it. I can unpin them, and if I want to add them back, what you can do is go to the little down arrow here, and it's going to show you all of the applications that you have. These are all the Windows 8 apps. You can tell by the icons being full icons there. And then you have a lot of Windows, I guess you would say Windows desktop apps on the right side there as well. Okay, so you have all your apps. And if I wanted to add the calculator, just right-click it. You can pin it to the start screen or pin it to the taskbar. I'll say pin to start, and there it is. And I can move it around, put it where I want it to go. Once you make this start screen the way you like, you'll appreciate it more. Okay, let me get rid of this. I can get rid of the game one, that's up to you. But you can get rid of that. You can always put things back. There's nothing here it's not being deleted. It's just simply being moved away. Now if I right-click again, I can make another thing here called Desktop Apps, for example. You can make another one called Office 2013 Apps. Like, you can really customize it to the way you like. If I were you, I would make the icon smaller. That way you can fit more of them on the screen to make this really work to your advantage. All right, so that's just some tidbits on the start screen there. And keep in mind that the latest Windows updates you can download will give you a search bar up here as well as a shutdown button there, making this start screen a bit more useful. You can also click on your account here, and you can click Change Account Picture. You can actually put a picture of yourself there indicating that you are the currently logged on user. Now, I haven't activated this Windows, therefore it won't let me do it right now, but activating is no big deal. That's part of the deal of using the product. You can even do that something you do, factor of authentication, which is called picture passwords. All right. So with that said, okay, I can even do a search here. Okay, if I wanted to, I could search anything I want. Okay, And check this out. You click on your start screen here, just start typing. Just simply start typing. Immediately your options come up. I don't have to click on something in Windows 8 to start typing. I'm just simply on the start screen, I start typing, and it shows me all these options. And you can even click on the little drop down here to specify exactly what type of information you want to get in the results. So you have a good search tool here. You got a very nice start screen there. Once you customize it, it really becomes better. Okay, and with Windows 8, you don't have Windows Explorer anymore. Now they call it File Explorer. This is your File Explorer, and a big difference with the Windows 8 File Explorer is it's in a ribbon view. Okay, just like Microsoft Office is. Windows 8 has unified their ribbon interface on both Windows and on Microsoft Office. So you get the same options that you do in Microsoft Office here. You get the same ribbon toolbar there. So that gives you a better interface as well. Okay, so we talked about a lot of things here so far. Okay, we talked about the new start screen, talked about the fast boot up, the refresh, the reset. We talked about file history, and even there's even some new things here in Control Panel. Check this out. So here's your Control Panel, and unlike Windows 7, Windows 8 gives you BitLocker without having to have the top-of-the-line version of Windows. You could just have Windows 8 Pro, and Windows 8 Pro gives you BitLocker, which lets you encrypt entire hard drives. Windows 8 also comes with a program here called File History. Okay, this tool all by itself can be used to maintain copies of your files so that the user can restore a file back in time, and also a user can undelete a file they accidentally deleted. And the best part is they don't have to call the help desk to get help. They can help themselves with Windows 8. So they have all this stuff in their libraries, their desktop, their contacts, their favorites, anything in those locations. If you turn on the file history, copies start to get made. You may know this as what's called shadow copies. They've given the user an actual program for shadow copy, finally, which I think is a nice benefit. So that's another new feature of Windows 8 is the file history. Okay, if you scroll down a little further, you'll see a lot of the options otherwise remain the same. Okay, but they've beefed up the Windows Defender. Windows Defender is stronger than it was before. They also include a feature called storage spaces, where you can create your mirrored sets, your RAID 0s, your RAID 1s, your RAID 5s. You can create your own, what they call storage space. You can use a couple of hard drives inside the computer, some hard drives outside the computer, and unite them into a single storage space, giving you more flexible storage options. Another great feature of Windows 8.
Hey, Nick, I have a question that says, how do you see all the programs installed?
How do you see all the programs installed? The way to do that is go to your start screen and go to the down arrow here. These are all the programs that are installed. Okay? So once again, you go to the start screen, click on the down arrow, and then here's all the Windows 8 apps and the desktop apps. The desktop apps are on the right, and the Windows 8 apps are on the far left there. So that's how you can find out where all your programs are. Okay. There's another feature of Windows 8 that's very desirable, okay, and that is called work folders. Work folders allows you to have access to your work files anywhere at any time. Think of it as an offline files feature, but it travels over the internet, okay? It used to be you would sync up your laptop with your files by plugging into your work network, okay? But now we can create a feature where users can synchronize their work files and their home files over the internet with the company server, giving you a much better remote experience. So you got that work folder feature, works out really well. Okay, and let's see here. What else can we talk about? Because there's so much here. It's a lot of cool stuff, but really the trick is just getting used to the interface. Just making sure that you understand that really Windows 8 is really Windows 7 at heart. It just has a different curtain. But once you peel back that curtain, it's good old Windows 7, plus it has new features as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, with that said, if there are any questions before I go any further, I'll be more than happy to respond if there's any questions. Okay, so perhaps there isn't any questions yet.
There's a question.
Okay,
It says,
we're going to do a hard stop.
oh,
Okay,
we actually have a question. It says, any C
great.
cleaner type cache cleaner?
Is there any built-in cleaning utility? Well, historically, we've always had the disk cleanup tool. Okay, so if you type in disk clean, okay, here it says free up disk space by deleting unnecessary files, and then it launches the disk cleanup tool. All right, so that tool's been around for a while. It's still here to this day. Although I think C cleaner is a better utility, but you still have this built-in tool as well. So disk cleanup definitely is here. Okay. Are there any other questions? Because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I teach classes, okay, that go into a lot more detail on the Windows 8 concept here. For example, let me show you some classes here. Actually, I'll just go to the website. I'll just do it directly. All right, check this out. Let me go to our website, which is nhsocal.com, and if you just simply type in Windows 8 on the top of our screen there, that's our class search bar, you're going to see a bunch of Windows 8 classes. Now, the skill levels are probably going to vary for you, but these are the classes I do a lot. These are classes for IT people, like configuring Windows 8.1, 5-day class, supporting Windows 8.1. In other words, you have it, how do I maintain it? How do I troubleshoot it? So I teach that class. I taught it recently, in fact. Okay, and Windows 8.1 configuring, that's how you configure Windows 8. Okay, so if you look here at the outlines, for example, 2687, click on the outline. It's going to show you the outline of the class. Okay, it's 5 days. This is the stuff you're going to learn. Every one of these classes has lab exercises, which, like I said before, it's going to be this environment here. This is actually the lab environment for 20687. So that'll be something you would be given if you choose New Horizons. You'll be given an online cloud virtualization environment that you can access for 6 months from anywhere in the world. Doesn't care where you are, what device you use. You can do those labs from anywhere, and it's for 6 months. So that's long after your class is over. All right, but with that said, okay, these are the outlines. Okay, it even talks about how the training can be done by branch it out, for example. It's going to show a schedule. It's also going to show the modality in which the course is offered. Okay, so this is good things to know. Our website's got it all, guys. Okay, you can even learn more about Windows 8 certification. If you go to Find Training and Certification, go to Microsoft Technical, and then click, click Windows 8, and then it's going to show you, okay, these are the classes for end users. There's the schedule and outlines. These are the technical classes, the schedule and the outline, okay, and it even talks about Windows 8. What's all the excitement about? Here's a video presentation. Okay, so our website is like a Wikipedia for you. It's got information about all our products, the courses, the certification exams, who the target audiences is, okay, and I think that'll definitely benefit you, going forward when you make your decisions. Okay, so with that said, we're getting pretty close to our end time here. If anybody has any questions about Windows 8, about our training, about the exams, you let me know. Okay.
I have a question here from Sarah.
Yes.
It says, in Windows XP and Windows 7, in group policy, I have redirected the desktop and the documents folder to network storage.
Good.
I guess this group policy will not work in Windows 8?
Absolutely it does. The folder redirection group policy is relatively operating system agnostic. Okay, the folder redirection will work because the folder paths are exactly the same. The desktop folder is still the desktop folder, right? For example, this file here is in the desktop folder. The desktop folder is in my account folder. The account is in the users folder. It's still the same path. So the paths have not changed. Therefore, the folder redirection should not struggle with Windows 8 clients.
Okay,
Okay,
and
are there any other questions?
yeah, and everyone, Nick has a hard stop at 10:45 as he does have a class to teach. So I have one last question, and it's from Cheryl, and it says, so if you don't have the down arrow on the Windows 8 desktop to see all the programs installed, maybe it's not version 8.1, does Microsoft provide files to allow you to upgrade from original version 8 to 8.1? And that's a great question.
Okay, yeah, good question. Okay, in Windows 8, okay, or Windows 8.1 I should say, Windows 8.1 is a free download. Okay, if you're a Windows 8 licensed user, Windows 8.1 is a free download. You can get it from the Windows Update site, okay, because that's how I got it. And not only that, but there's another enhancement to Windows 8.1. It's called Update 1. And you'd have to, again, do a search on the Microsoft site or do the Windows Update, and it should give you a really large download that will automatically upgrade your screen there to give you that down arrow. But that down arrow should be there. It might not be visible. You might have to click down there. Okay, you might have to right-click your start screen to get it to appear. But it is there because I've been using this screen here since before Windows 8 came out. It was there with the beta versions. Okay, so it is there, and if it's not there, just do what I said. Just try to right-click the start screen there, click around on the bottom there. It should appear for you. What Windows 8.1 did was make it easily visible. Okay, so that answers that first question as well as getting the newer versions. They are free downloads. Okay, are there any other questions?
So that's all the questions, and like I said, Nick is teaching a class today, so we're going to have to unfortunately have a hard stop here. But I want to say thank you to everyone for coming out. Thank you to Nick. Let's give him an electronic round of applause for today's presentation, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon. So thanks again for coming out, and we will see you soon.